Hello friends, this video on alternating currents part 16 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 15 before going ahead with part 16. Now we will look at the phasor diagram for series LCR circuit. So this would be interesting. This will tell us that how the concept of phasor diagrams turned out to be very useful. What role actually phasor diagram plays. What was the need of phasor diagram when we already had graphs to represent the voltage current relationships. So let us try to phasor diagram for series LCR circuit. So the points which we already know about the LCR circuit is resistor, capacitor and inductor, they are all in series. The applied voltage V is given as Vm sin omega t. The current flowing through the circuit I is given as Im sin omega t plus phi. Right? So now here, since we have all the circuit elements, so what are the voltages involved here? There is a voltage across the inductor, there is a voltage across the resistor, there is a voltage across the capacitor and there is a source voltage, right? So if I represent it like this, let us suppose this is my LCR circuit. This is my resistor, this is my inductor and this is my capacitor. So this is my source voltage. This is the voltage across the resistor. This is the voltage across the inductor. And this is the voltage across the capacitor. Right? So now let me try to plot the phasor. So first of all, now before that, I would say that what is this VL? This VL is nothing but Im into XL, that is IR, right? Similarly, this is nothing but Im into R. This VC is nothing but Im into XC, right? And the corresponding value for this V is nothing but Vm. So these are the peak values for each of them, right? The peak value for the voltage across the inductor would be equal to I into R, that is I into the inductive reactance. Similarly for resistor, for capacitor, and the peak value for the source voltage is Vm, that is the voltage amplitude, right? So now let us try to draw the phasor diagram. So let us suppose that my source voltage is represented by this phasor. So if this is my source voltage V, that means what would be, where would I represent my voltage of across resistor? The voltage across resistor would also be represented along this direction, because in case of resistor, the voltage and current are in phase. So if this is my current, my voltage would also be along this direction, right? Because now remember the resistor circuit. In case of resistor, V and I are in phase. So they are in phase means V and I will overlap with each other, right? Now what would happen in case of VL, that is inductor? We know that in case of inductor, what happens with the voltage? In case of inductor, the current lags behind by pi by 2. That means I behind V. So that means current should be behind voltage, right? So if current is here, voltage should be ahead of current by pi by 2. So pi by 2 ahead of current. So this should be the voltage or inductor. Now where should the voltage across capacitor be represented? In that case, the voltage should be behind current, because we studied all these things, right? We studied that in case of an inductor, the phase difference is pi by 2 and current lags behind voltage by pi by 2. So that is what we represented here. Similarly for capacitive circuit, voltage lags behind current by pi by 2. So this is my current. So the voltage should be somewhere here. So that is, this should be pi by 2. So now if you look at this phasor diagram, you see that VL and VC are opposite in direction. They are linear and exactly opposite in direction. Now the length of the phasors, see, you can see that some phasor is small, some phasor is big. That is because the length of the phasor represents these values. That is the peak value, right? I told you that the length of phasor represents the peak value. So here VR represents IMR. Similarly, VL represents IM into XL. Similarly, VC represents IM into XC. So the length of phasors represent these values. That is why you can see that VC is comparatively larger than VL. That's because the value of IMXC is comparatively larger than IMXL. That's because here XL would represent omega L and here it would be divided by omega C, right? So for the same amount of frequency, so if the frequency for the same frequency, this VC comes out to be larger when compared to your VC comes out to be larger when compared to your VL, right? So in this case, we see that VL and VC are exactly opposite to each other and they are along the same line, right? Now, that is the part of the phasor diagram. Now, if you look at the circuit diagram, what do you see? You see that the voltage across resistance plus the voltage across inductor plus the voltage across capacitor is equal to V. That is the source voltage, right? That is what we can see from the circuit. Now, with the help of this, we will try to simplify the phasor diagram. So how do we do that? Now, instead of displaying VL and VC opposite to each other, we can substitute it like this. Let us suppose this is I, this is VR, this is VC. Now, since VC is greater than VL as far as the magnitude is concerned, therefore VC will dominate. So we can say that this length is nothing but VC minus VL, because we are reversing VL from this direction to this direction. So instead of showing VL and VC in two opposite directions along the same line, I can display it as VC minus VL along one direction. So now this is VR and this is VC minus VL, that is 90 degree. So the resultant can be calculated from this triangle and this would be the resultant. So the line joining these two would be the resultant, right? So here we can say that this is a right angle triangle. So we get a right angle triangle. We obtained a right triangle with the help of phasors whose hypotenuse is V, that is the source voltage. So the hypotenuse of this right triangle is the source voltage. So now from Pythagoras theorem, so using Pythagoras theorem, we can write that VR square plus VC minus VL whole square is equal to Vm square, because here the length of the resultant represents the peak value of the source voltage. So peak value of the source voltage is Vm, right? So we can write Vm square is equal to, what is VR? VR is nothing but Im into R. So IMR whole square plus what is VC? VC is Im into XC minus Im into XL whole square. So this comes out to be Im square R square plus Im square XC minus XL whole square. So this comes out to be Im square into R square plus XC minus XL whole square. So this is Vm square. So this can be written as Vm is equal to Im into root over R square plus xc minus xl whole square. So if you look at this equation and compare it with the basic resistor equation, V is equal to IR. So in this circuit, you can see that if this is the voltage, this is the current, then this term acts as resistance. So this entire term acts as resistance. So from here we obtained that the impedance of the circuit is equal to root over R square plus XC minus XL whole square. So now you understood the importance of phasor diagram also. With the help of phasor diagram, how easily we could obtain the relationship between the voltages across all the different circuit elements. Because instead of phasor diagram, if you would have plotted it in terms of graph, it would have been really, it would have looked really complicated and confusing, because you will have some 3-4 waves moving, and then it would have been difficult to find out which one is in phase and which one is out of phase. So here you understood, so I will quickly review it once. What we did here is we first drew a vector, or we first drew a phasor for current. Then we drew the phasors for voltage across resistor, voltage across inductor, and voltage across capacitor. The voltage across resistor is in phase with the current, so it overlapped with current. Voltage across inductor is ahead of current, so it is ahead of current by 90 degrees. Voltage across capacitor is behind current by 90 degrees, so it is plotted behind current by 90 degrees. So this is what we obtained initially. Then we saw that since VL and VC are opposite in direction and they are along the same line, so what we did, we took both of them along one direction. So we took VL from this direction to the opposite direction, so made it minus L. So this vector now became VC minus VL, and this vector was already VR, and they were at 90 degrees to each other. So we joined the other ends of the vectors and obtained a right angle triangle such that the hypotenuse became the source voltage, that is V, right? So using Pythagoras theorem, we calculated the value of the result source voltage, that is Vm, and we found that Vm came out to be Im into a value which acted as the resistance for this LCR circuit, and that value is known as the impedance of the circuit and is given as root over R square plus XC minus XL whole square, right? So now let us look at, so that means we can say that we can represent the phasor diagram for an LCR circuit somewhat like this. Let us suppose if this is my VR, this is just a different representation of the same thing. I am just showing it so that you do not get confused. If I say that current is in this direction, it is not necessary that I always take current along this direction. So if current is along this direction, VR will be along the same direction as current. VL will be ahead of current by 90 degree. VC will be behind current by 90 degree. And the resultant of all this would be this one. That is, how do we get this one? Now VC, VL and VC, we can take it in one direction, and then we can say that this is the resultant of these two. Or this is another way of representation where we have taken the current along this direction. This is VR, this is VL, and this is VC. So we have taken VL and VC along this direction. So the resultant V is along this direction, right? So I hope that the concept is clear to you now. Okay. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.